Today is March 20th, 2021. Yes, indeed, New Jersey, we're at war. We at we are at war with the CCP, and our New Jersey government appears to be in league with them. This sanctuary state. I was working at my restaurant. I still have a job there, abbreviated as it were. But before the Chinese Communist Republic, Chinese Communist Party, got involved with these diseases at the Wuhan. Oh, you can't say that. You can't. Well, this is my channel, and this is my report on things as I see it. The shootings in Atlanta are a hoax. Atlanta is a hotbed for psyops and false flag events. One of the ones that they had in Atlanta was during the Olympics, Centennial Park bombing. Let's see here. Okay, yep. This was a false flag in Atlanta. Atlanta is good for the psyops. I was in Atlanta at the time, and don't, first of all, second of all, third of all, don't believe anything that I say. Anything that I say, just consider it not true until you check it out for yourself. This is a psyop that happened in Atlanta, but that's not where this is all starting. This is not where it's going to end.
If you're a homeowner in New Jersey and you're still paying for electricity, then you could be missing out on free government assistance to go solar. Most people don't know this, but in 2005, the federal government passed the Energy Policy.
Federal
Let me
government.
switch gears because this week, one of the big issues will likely be the trade issues between China and the U.S. We actually could see the U.S. impose that additional $200 billion in tariffs on Chinese goods this Thursday, the 6th. And we're waiting on that. What's your take on where we are with China and also the trade story around Canada as the U.S. successfully does a deal with Mexico and now awaits Canada's participation, rather. So China and Canada, the unknowns.
Yeah, well, I think the major issue certainly is China. Canada is a major trading partner as well. But I generally agree that taking on these trade imbalances is the right thing to do and try to fix some of it as much as possible. We've obviously had some success with the European Union. We'll have to see the final result of that. At least that's been the goal, to go to zero tariffs. That would be really something if we could do that internationally, unlikely to be sure. But listen, China has been conducting economic warfare on the United States and our allies for years. And it's about time that somebody's calling them on this. Not just the trade imbalance, but the incredible amount of intellectual property theft, the incredible amount of cyber espionage that's taking place. We're on a collision course with China, not just economically, but also in terms of what their militarization of the Western Pacific, their geopolitical goals, all at the expense of the United States. The president maintains public diplomacy. You know, President Xi is my friend. We've got a great relationship,
right?
And that's fine. But the team that's working beneath him, his economic team and also his national security team, very clear-eyed about China. They know that they are a major obstacle to United States interests around the world.
Obstacles, but now also an issue for the North Korea story. So now we know for sure that the trade issues between the U.S. and China have begun to impact the the general discussion about denuclearization in North Korea, China teaming up with North Korea, and the president basically calling back Pompeo from even going to North Korea because of it.
Yeah, that occurred as a result of a somewhat belligerent letter we received from a North Korean official prior to the visit, and the president read that attitude, much as he saw an attitudinal change just prior to the Singapore summit, and he canceled it. He's using the cancellation of the visit as leverage. We'll see if that attitude changes. We're just waiting for the North Koreans to do something positive on denuclearization, which they have not done to date. And I think that we'll give them a little bit more rope there. But the president and his team are running out of rope, frankly. And after a number of weeks, they're going to have to start slapping sanctions, harder sanctions on North Korea. And here's the big one, because China has opened up the aperture and has provided some sanction relief to North Korea ever since the Singapore summit. If they don't stop that, we're going to have to sanction China as well. We'll have to go after some of their banking systems.
Wow. All right. More will be revealed here. General, it's good to talk with you as always. Thanks so much.
Good talking to you, Maria.
General Jack Keane there.
Dr. Gundry, why are salads so bad for weight loss?
That was very succinct and very to the point. Now, let's look up hybrid warfare. How they're using it against the United States.
Back in 1962, the Sino-Indian War was fought in Ladakh on the battlefield with soldiers of both sides hurling bullets at each other. Modern wars, however, are not just fought on battlefields. Enter hybrid warfare. Advanced technology has made it possible for belligerents to attack each other on the digital front. Chinese military general and strategist Sun Tzu had written in his book Art of War that every battle is won before it is fought. Hybrid warfare is something that enables Sun Tzu's strategy. So what is hybrid warfare essentially? According to the US Center for Strategic and International Studies, hybrid warfare refers to any range of actions, from non-violent economic manipulation to low-level violence. Any strategy that can enable a country to gain a tactical advantage over the other can be categorized as hybrid warfare. This includes arms transfer or military exercises to show off the strength and alliances of armed forces, or creating trade barriers to slow down the economy of an enemy state. On September 14th, India was shaken by the Indian Express expose, where it was revealed that Shenzhen-based technology company Zhenhua had been tracking Indian VIPs. Zhenhua had links with the Chinese government and the People's Liberation Army. Zhenhua calls itself a pioneer in using big data for hybrid warfare. It monitored online activities of many Indian politicians, including PM Narendra Modi, industrialists, and current and former army chiefs. The vast swaths of data on every digital move of Indian VIPs were collected to extract important information and create behavioral patterns to predict their actions. There are many tools of hybrid warfare, and big data is one of them. Social media has emerged as a powerful tool to sway opinions in favor or against a person, a nation, or a government. An example of this is how social media is used by the Russian trolls and Chinese propagandists to spread misinformation and influence global audiences. Perhaps China's awareness of how powerful digital platforms and data could be is one of the reasons why it created the Great Firewall. A hybrid warfare strategy used by China is to coagulate its power and influence by laying a death trap via diplomacy. According to CSIS, the countries that participated in the Belt and Road Initiative ultimately shaped their policies towards Chinese benefits and interests. Cyber attacks or jamming satellites of a targeted country to affect its businesses and government operations is another strategy of hybrid warfare. Non-state actors, on the other hand, use hybrid warfare to fight proxy wars. Unlike in the past, the non-state actors are no more reduced to insurgents fighting guerrilla wars in remote jungles. Iran-backed Hezbollah has now begun to use military capabilities that were earlier only available to states. Russia created an alternative structure of the Ukrainian government to consolidate territorial gains by the separatists in Donbass. Hybrid warfare tactic of political coercion enabled Russia to wage a war without any retaliation from NATO. Lack of cyber diplomacy, regulations, and international laws on data has created a gray area that can be used as a tool of hybrid warfare. Data is easily available due to the widespread usage of social media and is the easiest tool to manipulate people or extract critical information. The Indian government has imposed bans on more than 100 Chinese apps, but there is a need for stringent regulations to protect data security in the country. Zenua comes in as a wake-up call for India to revisit problem areas in cyberspace and usher in new regulations to protect itself against at least a few hybrid warfare tactics.
It's an honor and a pleasure for me to be here at this SU User Conference. So thank you to Jack last year. We have visited SU Netherlands and he invited us, my group, your study tour group, with me, to share this wonderful conference. So I'm armed infantry staff officer, and the first 12 years of my career I'm doing this funny army stuff, running in the dark, getting wet.
Another part of this hybrid warfare, that lady, very informative, but her accent was just a little pebble in my shoe. Anyway, I don't want to digress. Fake news is the enemy. No, I don't want to get somebody different. Okay, he's too long. Fake news is propaganda. This is another part of the hybrid war. Hybrid. Let's look up hybrid. For those of you, just for some clarification. Hybrid, the offspring of two plants or animals of different species or varieties, such as a mule, a hybrid of a donkey and a horse, a hybrid of wheat and rye, a thing made by combining two things together, combining two different aspects of war. All right, I know I'm getting a little bit, I'm trying to stay, focused. What I'm trying to get to is New Jersey. Yeah, I got a song about Jersey. I'm a Jersey boy. Mary, won't you come out tonight? Come out tonight. Now, this is what my life was like before this Trojan horse, which I'm going to go to there. I'm from Jersey. This is what I was doing in 2017 and 18, 19, 20. I'm still doing it today. But this is in Jersey. This is Caden Smith. And this is where my job is at Prospectors. And I was in charge of graphics. I don't want to say media. And so this is what my life was like. So let me take you a picture. Okay, I'm in the other part of this video. Okay, this is me. I wasn't playing, y'all. I was a photographer at at my job where I still work there now. I do everything. Look at these white girls looking at me like that. That's why I love Jersey. They have the most beautiful, beautiful white women I've ever seen anywhere. I've never seen a group of women more beautiful than the girls in Jersey. Jersey. Wow. Look at it. They were looking at me. I was a photographer in these pictures. But thanks to the Chinese communist... Okay. I'm gonna put on the chair. I feel like sliding and rocking and shit like that. Look there. You like that one food project? They were looking at me, y'all. You hear that? You hear that? You hear that? Do you hear that? The Chinese Communist Party doesn't like that. They don't like us having fun like this. That's me in the Superman outfit. I love New Jersey like that. Okay, y'all get the point. Y'all get the point.
I just started delivering for DoorDash, and I absolutely love it.
I'm just thinking.
I get to keep
the Trojan War was a premonition of what is happening to the United States of America. You can't say this on mainstream media. You can't call into your local radio station and have freedom of speech. There is freedom of speech. There is the right to remain silent. I have freedom of speech and I have the right to remain silent. And I can say things in comparison, in analytical aspects, okay? Jersey, I'm trying to wake you up, Jersey. The New Jersey government is an insurgent government. People have been paid off in insurgent in this government that's called New Jersey. I got letters, I got certificates of delivery to the Department of Labor and to the governor. Let's look up labyrinth. Okay. Lab. P E R I T H. Okay. M A Z E. Maze. Thesaurus. Labyrinth. There it is. A labyrinth. A labyrinth of little streets, maze, warren, network, complex, web, entanglement. Labyrinth of conflicting regulations. That's what the New Jersey government is. Because they're implementing this war against the people of New Jersey. I wasn't begging for money. I wasn't calling and certifying and checking in and, waiting and waiting and waiting. I wasn't. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. So, the New Jersey government is a labyrinth against the people of New Jersey. I'm not playing.
Of the tale as the actual history. The Trojan War is one of the most famous conflicts in human history, but it resides somewhere within the space between fact and fiction. The myth is just as much a part of the tale as the actual history. So keep watching as we dive deep into the truth behind the Trojan War. The story of the Trojan War has been told and retold countless times, most famously by Homer in the Iliad. But its historical authenticity wasn't always accepted as fact. In the 17th century, Blaise Pascal wrote, Homer produced a story which he offered as such and was accepted as such, for no one doubted that Troy and Agamemnon had existed any more than the golden apple. He did not think he was making a history of it, merely an entertainment. But it turns out that there's more truth to Homer's tale than initially thought. In the 19th century, a Prussian businessman named Heinrich Schliemann went to what is now Turkey in an attempt to find the location of the Trojan War. In his excavations, he found numerous archaeological treasures that corresponded to the correct location, if not necessarily the correct time period, of Troy. Modern archaeologists later confirmed that these findings correlated with the existence of a city as well as its destruction. So, despite Homer's embellishments, he knew his history. In Greek mythology, the Trojan War essentially begins with a botched beauty contest. All the Greek gods were attending a wedding, except for Eris, who hadn't been invited. But she still showed up, and when she was turned away, she threw into the crowd of goddesses a golden apple that was addressed to the fairest. Hera, Aphrodite, and Athena all wanted the apple. But when they asked Zeus to mediate, he instead delegated the task to Paris of Troy and told the messenger god Hermes to take the goddesses to him. Hera promised Paris untold wealth and power, Athena promised him untold knowledge, and Aphrodite promised marriage to the most beautiful mortal woman, Helen of Sparta. That bribe sealed it, and Paris chose Aphrodite as the recipient of the golden apple. Surprisingly enough, the judgment of Paris is only mentioned explicitly once in the Iliad, in the final book of the poem. The first 9 years of the Trojan War were a constant siege against Troy, but the city walls kept the Achaeans at bay. Few sources talk specifically about the first 9 years, preferring instead to focus on the climactic events of the 10th and final year. But during this time, the Trojans defended themselves while the Achaeans sacked the neighboring cities. Among the cities that were sacked were Thebes, where Agamemnon captured a woman named Chryseis, and Lyrnessus, where Achilles captured a woman named Briseis. Agamemnon wanted to keep Chryseis as a prize, but her father, a priest of Apollo, offered Agamemnon a ransom for his daughter. After Agamemnon denied his request, his father prayed to Apollo, who swiftly sent a plague that decimated the Achaean army. Agamemnon then begrudgingly gave up Chryseis.
Hold on. They sent a what? Those who forget the past are condemned to repeat it. Those who forget the past are condemned to repeat it. What did I say? I ain't playing. I'm not playing. I'm not playing. I'm not playing. I'm trying to let you know New Jersey's a puppet of the CCP, the hybrid war, the Trojan horse. Those who forget the past, those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it. Only the dead have seen the end of war, and the definition of beauty as pleasure objectified. I'm not playing. We're at war. Hold on. What did they do?
Offered Agamemnon a ransom for his daughter. After Agamemnon denied his request, his father prayed to Apollo, who swiftly sent a plague that decimated the Achaean army. Agamemnon then begrudgingly gave up Chryseis, though he decided that if he couldn't find a replacement, he would simply take another woman as his unwilling prize instead. Greatly irritated by Agamemnon's threat, Achilles accused Agamemnon of being shameless. Agamemnon responded in turn by taking Briseis to teach him a lesson in authority and power. This act infuriated Achilles so much that he decided to withdraw himself and his troops entirely from battle.
Give me cause and I'll give you war. Can you?
Despite this, Achilles was worried that the Achaeans might actually lose against the Trojans. So, when his friend Patroclus asked if he could borrow his armor, Achilles agreed. Initially, Patroclus did remarkably well, but then Apollo once again attacked the Achaean army, shattering Patroclus's spear and breaking the armor off of him. While exposed like this, he was brought to his end by Hector. Enraged at the news of his friend's death, Achilles decided to rejoin the war effort. He immediately sought Hector out for vengeance. Upon meeting Achilles, Hector tried to get him to agree that no matter who won, they would not desecrate the defeated man's body, for this is what his mother warned would occur. But Achilles' rage had given him tunnel vision, and he had no regard for fairness. He promptly slayed Hector and then tied his body to his chariot and pulled it back to the Achaean camp. The Trojans then called upon their allies for support now that their best fighter was dead. But they were no match for Achilles, so the gods decided that enough was enough. At Aphrodite's behest, Apollo guided an arrow shot by Paris directly into Achilles' heel, the only vulnerable part of his body. Aphrodite held a special place for Paris in her heart, and having given him the most beautiful woman in the world, she now gave him the gift of killing the greatest Greek warrior. But Aphrodite decided that also she no longer owed anything to him. So when he went to Helen that night, Aphrodite's spell over her had come to an end, and she no longer felt any desire for him. In the final phase of the war, Odysseus came up with the famous plan of the Trojan horse. The Achaeans made it seem as though they were leaving and sailing off as they left a giant wooden horse behind. But in fact, they hid themselves within the horse and waited for the curious Trojans to bring it into the city walls. They made sure that the warrior Sinon also stayed behind to tell the Trojans that the Achaeans had decided to give up and leave the Trojans a present. The Trojans fell for the ruse. That night, as they celebrated their victory, the Achaeans climbed out of the horse and sacked the city. The Achaeans were cruel in their victory as they pillaged the city and committed sacrilegious acts. Out of all the Trojan heroes, only Aeneas was able to escape while everyone else was killed or enslaved. In response to the Achaeans' horrendous behavior, the gods sent down storms as punishment to destroy their ships. Those who were able to return faced a perilous path ahead, like Odysseus, whose 20-year journey home is famously narrated in Homer's Odyssey. Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more grunge videos about your favorite stuff are coming soon.
Are you still with me, New Jersey? Let me paint you a picture the way I want to kiss you. And I had a great time in New Jersey. Look. Jesus. This is a video that I made. I made it in 2018. I got up here in 2017. I'm just going to just show you where I was. Let me wrap this up. I got to go to Fauci.
I don't know him! Peter, don't you know what you have said? You've gone and cut him dead. I had to do it, don't you see? Or else they'd go for me. It's what he told us you would do.
Okay. Yeah. I don't even know. It's still 9 o'clock, so this video is not over an hour. I don't want to make it. Okay. Okay. Fauci is Mother Teresa's son. Or either it's Mother Teresa.
Today I walk in, I hear I'm going to fire him. I'm not firing him. I think he's a wonderful guy.
You tweet something that said fire Fauci. Why did you fire Fauci?
I retweeted somebody. I don't know. They said fire. It doesn't matter.
This is Dr. Anthony Stephen Fauci. He's widely recognized as one of the world's leading experts on infectious diseases. Fauci has worked in public health for over 50 years and has been an advisor to every U.S. president since Ronald Reagan. He's dealt with public responses to HIV, SARS, MERS, Ebola, and even bioterror attacks. Since January, he's been one of the lead members of the Trump administration's coronavirus task force.
Hey, I'm Dr. Fauci. I'm recommending that you shut down your businesses, that you vaccinate and mask your children, and socially distance them apart behind partitions. All right? I developed the Bill Gates couldn't keep a virus off of Mac, which is why I use an Apple. Which is why I use an Apple. Michael Jackson. Which is why I use an Apple. I use an Apple. I have a MacBook Pro. Okay, that's me. I'm channeling these fuckers. Dr. Fauci. 1 mask, 2 masks, 3 masks, vaccine, socially distant. Hey, I'm the president. I'm the one that the media. I can't stand that. Fuck 'em. I can't.
And a couple of days ago, Donald Trump retweeted a hashtag calling for him to be fired.
Did you notice that when you retweeted it?
Yeah, I noticed everything.
So you retweeted it even though it said time to fire Fauci?
No, that's somebody's opinion. All that is his opinion.
As Trump has come under increasing criticism for his handling of the COVID-19 outbreak, he's tried to maintain that he's been acting on the advice of experts. Fauci has struggled to remain publicly neutral and supportive of Trump while walking a fine line between contradicting the president and offering his unfiltered professional medical opinion, like the time he had to backtrack Trump's claim that common malaria drugs, like chloroquine and hydroxychloroquine, were possible treatments for COVID-19.
Now, this is a common malaria drug. We're going to be able to make that drug available almost immediately. And that's where the FDA has been so great. They've gone through the approval process. It's been approved.
Actually, it hadn't been tested or approved for treating COVID-19. And as people panicked to get their hands on the drugs, Dr. Fauci attempted to do some damage control.
Anecdotally, they might work, but my job is to prove definitively from a scientific standpoint that they do work.
Look, it may work and it may not work. And I agree with the doctor, what he said. May work, may not work. I feel good about it. That's all it is, just a feeling. I'm a smart guy.
Then, in an interview with CNN, Fauci finally seemed to crack, admitting that an earlier response from the administration could have saved more lives, but that his advice had been met with resistance.
I mean, obviously, if we had, right from the very beginning, shut everything down, it may have been a little bit different, but there was a lot of pushback about shutting things down back then.
While defending his response to the pandemic on Twitter, Trump then retweeted a tweet that included a call to fire Fauci. Fauci is not technically appointed by Trump. He's a federal employee who reports to the head of the...
Fucking Fauci didn't get elected by any fucking body. How the fuck did Fauci get so powerful? You know why? He's a fucking Jesuit. He's a Jesuit. He's the son of Mother Teresa, and he's a Jesuit. Oh, shit. I don't fucking care.
Warm greetings to you all from Bethesda, Maryland. My name is Tony Fauci, and I am director of the National...
I lived in Silver Springs, Maryland. I went to the White House, to Congress, underground Congress, to the Federal Reserve, to the Smithsonian Institute. I played Wheaton, basketball at Wheaton Boys Club, Forest Knolls Boys Club, Sligo Junior High. I played Bethesda, Gaithersburg. I've been around.
Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases at the National Institutes of Health. Although I am unable to be with you in person today, I am delighted to have this opportunity to congratulate the outstanding graduates in the high school class of 2020. Currently, our lives have been upended by a truly historic global pandemic. I am profoundly aware that graduating...
You can't see it. You can't smell it. You can't know it's there unless you fucking test for it. Hold on for a second. The Emperor's New Clothes. I have volumes and volumes and volumes and volumes. Tell you a story about Jersey. I'll tell you a story about Jersey. All right. Okay. Today is December the 13th, 2020. It seems like it's hard to get that. Today is March 20th, 2021. That's like some kind of like palindrome or something like that. I don't know. 2020 out of your mouth. It meant a lot of things to a lot of different people. I usually make entertainment videos about the cosmos, the clouds, the stars, the moons, the orbs. My content is replete. But I heard a story from a lady who I'm going to show you momentarily, which made me look at it from another perspective. The pandemic, the coronavirus, certificate of vaccine ID. There's the treason by our elected officials, the bribery that's been perpetrated on our government by the Chinese government. Scandals, sex scandals, Epstein Island. But the part that touched me the most is this lady from Angela Marsden. I think we're going to see her in a minute, but I want to set this up with the Emperor's New Clothes is the thing that comes to mind, because you can't see the coronavirus. Only the finest scientists and doctors. Dr. Fauci, the Jesuit. Look up the word Jesuit. Let me look it up for you. A member of the Society of a Roman Catholic order of priests founded by St. Ignatius, Loyola, St. Francis Xavier, and others in 1534 to do missionary work. The order was zealous in opposing the Reformation despite periodic persecution. They had retained and employed institute. No, we can go on and on with this, but this is what I want to get to.
There was once a vain emperor who just loved clothes. More than ruling his land wisely, he seemed interested only in changing into a new suit every hour. He would visit the theater and go out in his carriage so that the people would get to see his new suits every day. How he loved to show off his new clothes to all the people. Instead of discussing with his ministers the state of the kingdom, he was more interested in their opinion of his clothes.
So, my dear ministers, what do you think of my new dress? Isn't it better than the one I wore yesterday?
Your Majesty, it is absolutely wonderful. What a beautiful design.
The stories of the emperor's love for clothes spread far and wide and reached the ears of two scoundrels. The cunning fellows landed up at the emperor's court one day and asked to meet the emperor.
And what work do you have with the Emperor? He is a busy man and cannot be meeting everyone.
Oh, we are very fine weavers, sir, and we can weave clothes like none other in the kingdom. We have heard that the Emperor loves clothes, and have come to make him a suit with our beautiful cloth.
The Emperor has got so many suits made of so many different cloths. What is so different in your cloth?
Well, you see, our cloth is so light and delicate that it is almost invisible. In fact, it is visible only to those who are fit to do the jobs they are doing, and fools most certainly cannot see our cloth.
When the courtier heard this, he rushed to tell the emperor about this amazing new cloth that the two weavers were talking about.
What's going on? All right, what's going on here?
His ministers the state of the kingdom. He was more interested in their opinion of his clothes.
So, my dear ministers, what do you think of my new dress? Isn't it better than the one I wore yesterday?
Your Majesty, it is absolutely wonderful. What a beautiful design.
Fauci. Look at Fauci.
Stories of the emperor's love for clothes spread far and wide and reached the ears of two scoundrels. The cunning fellows landed up at the emperor's court one day and asked to meet the emperor.
And what work do you have with the Emperor? He is a busy man and cannot be meeting everyone.
Oh, we are very fine weavers, sir, and we can weave clothes like none other in the kingdom. We have heard that the Emperor loves clothes, and have come to make him a suit with our beautiful cloth.
The Emperor has got so many suits made of so many different cloths. What is so different in your cloth?
Well, you see, our cloth is so light and delicate that it is almost invisible. In fact, it is visible only to those who are fit to do the jobs they are doing, and fools most certainly cannot see our cloth.
When the courtier heard this, he rushed to tell the emperor about this amazing new cloth that the two weavers were talking about.
Fools cannot see it, you say, and it's invisible to those not suited for their jobs. This I must see.
So, of course, he wanted to be fine. Everybody wanted to be fine.
The weavers asked
coronavirus,
for thread and the finest of silks,
vaccines,
all of which they hid away in their bags and pretended to be working away at the looms.
The World Health Organization, CDC, this is all them making up these viruses nobody can see or feel or touch. You've got to be tested.
Monster Math presents Addition Below 10. Okay, class, let's begin.
That was a long 2 seconds.
In the meanwhile, the emperor was getting more and more curious to know what the weavers were doing, and decided to send his trusted minister to have a look.
Be leading soon.
Of course, Your Majesty. Everyone will be looking at you.
The weavers continued pretending to. They asked for more candles, pretending to work late into the night.
Welcome, sir. Have you come to see the Emperor's suit? We are sure neither you nor the Emperor will be disappointed. We are working very hard to make sure it is ready for the Emperor to wear for the procession.
And how do you like it, sir? Have you ever seen such a magnificent design or such a perfect blend of colors?
The courtier was as confused as the minister. He could see absolutely nothing, and admitting that would mean he was an idiot and not fit to do the job he was doing. Like the minister, he had no intention of being labeled a fool.
I must say it is an amazing suit, absolutely befitting of our great ruler. And you were right, I have never seen such marvelous craftsmanship.
The courtier listened carefully.
I've never seen so many dead people and no funerals. I've never seen this coronavirus, but I got my mask on, I got my shield on, I got my social thing. Where's my vaccine? I can't see that. That's what you want? Huh? Is that what you want?
Better than we had expected. People will be talking of nothing but your suit at the procession. Here, have a look at the jacket and the trousers. I am sure they will fit your majesty like a second skin. And the cloak. Isn't it magnificent? They are all so light and fragile, like a spider's web.
The emperor looked.
All right. Murphy is the emperor, and this fucker has no clothes. If somebody doesn't like it, somebody from his office call me. Let's start looking at these things. This is where I was going. My countrymen, the people in right. Oh God. Look at this is where the Trojan horse is led. The Chinese Communist Republic has fucking perpetrated hybrid warfare against the little people of New Jersey. I contracted COVID. Get the fuck out of there. All right. Hold on. I need to get some more. You don't like just put it like this. The Trojan horse, the Democratic Party has this is a Trojan horse. This is the carrot in front of the donkey. We're gonna end on this because I can go on and on and on and on and on and on and on. I got eviction notices. My father told me, always say something for yourself. A labyrinth. Look at these stories. This is Phil Murphy and his fucking gang of fuckers. I'm going to hashtag this Murphy. Governor Phil Murphy, Philip. You fucker. This is where you took me away from. I got to finally say goodnight because I got to go to work. Thank God, even though it's for below wages. This is where I worked before I got fucked by Phil Murphy. Before he came to fucking help me. what they rescued me from. Those fuckers. Thank you, Mr. Phil Murphy, for rescuing me from the best time a person could have. And thank you. Today is March 20th, 2021. Good night.